Hi everyone, we are in Proverbs Chapter 25 today, so let's get started with prayer. Dear Lord, we thank you for this day. We thank you for your goodness. We thank you for your love. We thank you for your word. I thank you that so many have come to know you from your word and from those that have shared it, Lord. I pray that we would learn and grow as we study your word today. May the words that come out of my mouth be yours. Pray all these things in your name. Amen. Proverbs chapter 25. More Proverbs of Solomon. These are more Proverbs of Solomon, copied by the men of Hezekiah, king of Judah. It is the glory of God to conceal a matter. To search out a matter is the glory of kings. As the heavens are high and the earth is deep, so the hearts of the kings are unsearchable. So the Lord has things that we do not know, that we do not understand. But it should be our joy to study His Word and to ask for His guidance and direction and to be seeking Him out always. And it's also important to remember that what the Lord has for us, He's so much higher than us. He's so much better than us. It's not just something that you put your hand out and grab very easily. You have to search the scriptures, and you have to search what the Lord has for us. As the heavens are high and the earth is deep, so the hearts of the king are unsearchable. Understanding what a ruler wants and what he is after is not always easy. Remove the dross from the silver, and out comes material for the silversmith. Remove the wicked from the king's presence, and his throne will be established through righteousness. So this is saying remove all the ugly, remove all the bad and yucky stuff, and that's where we get the jewels. That's where we get the beauty. And you can't have an evil person or a wicked person and expect there to be righteous and good things happening. That's not how it works. Do not exalt yourself in the king's presence, and do not claim a place among great men. It is better for him to say to you, "Come up here," than for him to humiliate you before a noble man. Don't assume that there's always going to be these good things, or that you deserve a reward, or don't just go up and grab it. Wait until they say your name. Wait until you're congratulated. Don't just assume that you're always the best and you're going to be the one to receive whatever. Okay. What you have seen with your eyes, do not bring hastily to court. Turn in the page. For what will you do in the end if your neighbor puts you to shame? When you see something happen, when you're thinking something's going on, make sure you search it. Make sure you look at it and say, is this correct? Is this really happening? Because it might not be. It might not be true. You might just be overreacting, or you might just be seeing part of the story. Make sure you know the whole story before you assume and ruin a relationship or get somebody in trouble when they don't deserve that. If you anger your case, if you argue your case with a neighbor, do not betray another man's confidence, or he who hears it may shame you, and you will never lose your bad reputation. When you're arguing or having a disagreement with somebody, don't bring others into this situation. Don't assume that they have done different things, and you have to be so careful, because nowadays we have social media and just all these different ways, and you say one bad thing about a person and people might never forget it. It's not a situation where it's just word of mouth and then that might be forgotten. A lot of times now it's done in video or pictures or written down on social media, and so just be very careful. You don't want to ruin somebody else's reputation. You don't want your reputation ruined. Verse 11, a word aptly spoken is like apples of gold in settings of silver. So a word that was spoken correctly and rightly and at the right time is like apples of gold in settings of silver. It's a good thing. Like an earring of gold or an ornament of fine gold is a wise man's rebuke to a listening ear. Rebuke, correction, for those that are willing to listen to it, for those that are willing to accept it, are good. Like the coolness of snow at harvest time is a trustworthy message to those who send him. Is a trustworthy messenger to those who send him. He refreshes the spirit of his masters. So those that are given responsibility to share messages or things, make sure that they're trustworthy. Make sure that you're not just giving this message to anybody, and that it's gonna get to where it needs to get, and so that everybody's taken care of. Like clouds and wind without rain is a man who boasts of gifts he does not give. If you're not going to do something, don't act like you're going to do it. Don't say that you're going to do it. Just either do it or don't. Don't lead people on, because you don't want to be that person that promises something and then doesn't follow through. Through patience, a ruler can be persuaded, and a gentle tongue can break a bone. Be patient. Be patient with the situation we're in now. Be patient with your parents through all this. Being gentle, being kind, being loving, being very careful with what you use with your words can be very effective and accomplishing what needs to be done. It doesn't have to be a harsh word to get a lot done. Verse 16. If you find honey, eat just enough. Too much of it, and you will vomit. Seldom set foot in your neighbor's house. Too much of you, and he will hate you. Even if something is sweet, don't gorge yourself on it. Don't be a glutton. Don't eat so much and then you end up sick. And make sure that you're not spending so much time with a friend or a neighbor or whoever, or even your siblings, that they don't want to spend time with you anymore. Like, make sure that you're giving that time and the space that they need and that you need. You know, go read a book, go watch a video or something. It's not always good for us to spend time all together, all the time. Like a club or a sword or a sharp arrow is the man who gives false testimony against his neighbor. It's painful. When you say something false about somebody, it can do so much damage and cause pain for years to come. I've had people say things about my family and their words, or, you know, maybe they were just mad for that moment or whatever and wanted to do whatever they could to hurt them. Well, they succeeded. And it hurt for a very long time, and my family's still dealing with it. So be careful what you say. Words are powerful. You know, especially today, we've got to be very careful that we choose our words to make sure that, you know, we're not saying, well, I saw this happen and, you know, they need to be punished. Well, did you see it happen? Did it really happen? Was it true? You know, there's grave consequences for our words and actions. We need to make sure that what we say is true and good and uplifting. Because we're all created in God's image. He loves us all. So we need to make sure that we're not putting down a neighbor or friend. Okay, verse 19. Like a bad tooth or a lame foot is reliance on the unfaithful in times of trouble. A tooth that is bad or a lame foot that is bad, that is not a good thing. Like, they're not helpful. And so you don't want to be that unfaithful friend during times of trouble, during now. Like, we need to be there for each other. We need to make sure that we can lean on each other, and just lift each other up, because you don't want to be that person that turns anybody away, especially right now. Like one who takes away a garment on a cloudy day, or like vinegar poured on soda, is one who sings songs to a heavy heart. Sometimes singing can be helpful, and sometimes it's not. You know, sometimes people are just having a heavy heart and they just need the time to themselves. And sometimes they need that encouragement. Sometimes they need a song. And yeah, it's hard to tell. You know, and it depends on the person. Sometimes if a person's hurting, they just want to be left alone. And sometimes if they're hurting, they want somebody right there with them. If your enemy is hungry, give him food to eat. If he is thirsty, give him water to drink. If you come alongside somebody and they're hungry or thirsty, give them something. Whether they're your enemy, friend, stranger, whatever. Don't just leave them hanging. Provide for them. Verse 22. And doing this, you will heap burning coals on his head, and the Lord will reward you. Doing nice things to your enemies, like, will make them think, like, oh, what was I doing? Why did I act that way? It's going to make them think about their actions and possibly rethink what they're doing. As a north wind brings rain, so a shy tongue brings angry looks. Sorry, not shy, sly. So a sly tongue brings angry looks. Make sure that what you're saying isn't angering people. Make sure you're not going around causing problems. You don't want to be the downpour. You don't want to be the storm in somebody's life. Okay. Verse 24. Better to live on the corner of a roof than share a house with a quarrelsome wife. We've talked about this before. Like, it's better to be in a relationship that is good and healthy and uplifting than to be with a person that just wants to argue and hurt you and cause you all this pain and grief all the time. A lot of times we can get caught up in beauty and people's looks and what people think of somebody. But just be cautious of what type of relationships you get in and what you're dealing with. Because you don't want to end up with a person that you regret for the rest of your life. Like cold water to a heavy soul is good news from a distant land. Hearing good things, hearing encouragement from far away, especially being here in Davao, away from friends and family, it's what gets us through. And cold water is refreshing and hopeful and helps us get through difficult times. Like a muddied spring or a polluted well is a righteous man who gives way to the wicked. As people that are following the Lord, as people that are serving Him, we shouldn't open the door for wicked people to do just whatever they want. We need to make sure that we're focused on the Lord and that we're following His will and His word, and so that the wicked don't prevail. Verse 27, it is not good to eat too much honey, nor is it honorable to seek one's own honor. Again, don't eat too much, because you'll just feel sick. And don't go seeking, like, I'm the best, I deserve all the honor. Like, don't go looking for it. Wait until it comes to you. Wait until somebody says something to you. It'll come. Just be patient. Just wait. Like a city whose walls are broken down is a man who lacks self-control. We do not want to be a person that is just going to be like, rah, and exploding and acting and doing all these things that they should not all the time. We need to be honorable and loving and control our tempers and ask the Lord for help in this, because I know it's not easy. If anything, it's magnified now, with not being able to get out of the house, not being able to go and do, it's harder. It's harder to be soft-spoken, it's harder to act in a way that we should, but that doesn't mean that we shouldn't still try. So, there you go. That is Proverbs Chapter 25. We'll talk to you next time. Bye. God bless.